The ocean does not reveal its strangest creatures at the surface. It hides them. It buries them beneath kilometers of pressure and cold and absolute darkness. And the deeper you go, the more extreme they become. Anglerfish exist across a range of depths. But what happens to their bodies, their weapons, their strategies as they sink further from the light is one of the more unsettling stories in marine biology. The same lineage. Utterly different animals. What the darkness does to them is not subtle. At around 200 meters, the sunlight runs out. We have entered the mesopelagic zone, what scientists call the Twilight zone. Here, the first anglerfish appear. They are already strange. The females carry a modified fin spine protruding from the forehead, a biological fishing rod tipped with a glowing lure called an esca. Inside that esca, bioluminescent bacteria produce cold chemical light. It pulses in the near-total darkness. To the small fish and crustaceans drifting in these waters, it looks like food, like safety, like something worth approaching. It is none of those things. But these shallower anglerfish are, in relative terms, unremarkable. Their features, though alien to us, follow rules that other deep-sea creatures also follow. Transparency, slow movement. Bioluminescent camouflage. What changes as you descend further is not a gentle progression, it is an escalation. At these depths, life trades diversity for specialization. The abundance that characterizes shallower waters vanishes. Prey becomes scattered, sporadic, and the mechanisms for hunting grow correspondingly more extreme. Each adaptation serves a single purpose: survival in an environment where failure means starvation. Drop below 1,000 meters and pressure exceeds 100 atmospheres. Temperature locks near freezing. No light from the surface has ever reached here, not once. This is the bathypelagic zone, the midnight zone, and it is where anglerfish stop looking like fish and start looking like something engineered specifically for killing in the dark. The very substance of the environment has changed. Dissolved oxygen levels drop. Cold itself becomes a tool of survival, slowing the metabolism of hunters and prey alike, stretching the time between feeding cycles. The females of species like Melanocetus johnsonii, the black sea devil, are small, no longer than a human hand. But their mouths are enormous, wide enough to swallow prey twice their own body length. Their teeth are transparent and needle-thin, angled inward like spikes on a parking barrier. Prey can enter. Nothing leaves. Their jaws and stomachs distend to proportions that seem physically impossible, their bones thin and flexible enough to accommodate a meal that should, in any ordinary biological sense, be too large to consume. Food here is too scarce to leave anything behind. This arrangement is not unique to Melanocetus. The fang-toothed fish and several species of viperfish employ similar strategies, each calibrated to their specific depth and the types of prey that drift through their hunting grounds. The engineering is exquisite, and then there is the skin. The dreamer anglerfish, documented by Embury researchers, is among the blackest animals ever measured. Its skin absorbs more than 99.5% of all light that touches it. This is not simple dark coloration. The melanin granules are shaped and packed in a specific arrangement that traps photons before they can scatter, reflecting back less than 0.5% of what hits them. Even a submarine's floodlight aimed directly at this fish barely returns a visible outline. It vanishes into its own body. The lure glows. The body does not exist. This is ambush predation reduced to pure geometry. One point of light in infinite black, and jaws that no one saw coming. What emerges from the darkness is not a simple evolution of predatory capability. It is predatory capability stripped to its essence. Every unnecessary element removed, every useful element amplified to the point of alien perfection. The lure itself grows more elaborate the deeper you go. Shallow water species carry simple glowing bulbs. In the bathypelagic zone, lures branch and trail, developing filaments and multiple light points, shapes that suggest the outline of smaller organisms drifting in open water. Some species appear to use biofluorescence, absorbing light at one wavelength and re-emitting it at another. In a zone where bioluminescence is the only light that exists, this is a manipulation of the only visual language available. Deception at its most refined. Yet the lure, for all its sophistication, is only half the hunting strategy. The body itself is an accomplice. Ambush predation requires stealth, patience, and the ability to strike with overwhelming speed. These fish possess all three. But the feature that makes deep anglerfish genuinely unlike anything else on Earth is not the lure. It is what happens to the males. In the deepest dwelling ceratioid species, males are born without a functional digestive system. They have one task. They must find a female before they starve to death. In the bathypelagic zone, a male uses a highly developed sense of smell to track waterborne pheromones through kilometers of featureless dark water. When he finds a female, he bites her, not as predation. He latches on and holds. In many species, that is where it ends. Enzymes dissolve the tissue at the attachment point. Their circulatory systems merge. His eyes recede, his fins disappear. His internal organs wither until only his testes remain, functioning, permanent, nourished entirely by her blood. Some females carry several fused males at once. The record documented by science is 8. This is not a strategy that evolved in shallower water. It is a precise solution to a problem only the abyss creates. How do two animals find each other when encounters are vanishingly rare, and energy is too precious to survive on chance alone? This intensity is not coincidence. It is a direct answer to depth. Anglerfish living above 200 meters retain more typical fish morphology. As depth increases, selective pressure strips away everything unnecessary and amplifies everything that kills. Jaws grow relatively larger. Lures grow more sophisticated. Skin grows blacker. The body becomes an engine of ambush. Nothing extra, nothing wasted. The ceratioids as a group evolved from benthic ancestors once living along the continental slope. At some point, they moved into open water. That transition triggered one of the most dramatic radiations of body form in the deep sea. Some species are round and globe-like. Others are laterally compressed, almost flat. Some carry lures nearly as long as their own bodies. Biologists expected the extreme environment to force convergence on a single design. Instead, they found diversification. The darkness did not narrow anglerfish into one shape. It opened space for almost any body capable of attracting and consuming prey to survive. At 2,000 meters and beyond, no-way expeditions have recorded anglerfish in water, held at roughly 2 degrees Celsius, under pressures exceeding 200 atmospheres. Every visible feature on these animals serves a function. The blackness hides them. The lure draws prey in. The teeth ensure nothing escapes. The extensible jaw ensures no meal goes unconsumed. What we read as deadliness is efficiency, taken to its furthest possible conclusion by a world that punishes waste absolutely. Secrets worth discovering, sealed under kilometers of cold.